Okay, we're playing this game called Home. I learned about it 2 years ago, a while ago, and it finally went on sale. It's normally $5, went on sale for $1, so I'm a smart saver.
We'd be losing money not to get it.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm also tangled in the couch. There we go. So, anyway, it just said that I skipped through. It recommends beating it all at once. Hey Google, turn off the deck lights.
Sure. Turning the deck lights off.
Alright, and we're making everything all nice and spooky.
At least halfway through the stream, we're going to forget New Dog's here and he's going to make some awkward noise and scare us.
I know nothing about this game besides that it's spooky. There's something by my feet. A flashlight. Okay, I can move left and right and point up, but keep my eyes forward.
Yeah.
There are no buttons besides left and right. Oh, controller vibrated. That house. Where was I? There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it?
Cats are already contributing to creepiness.
Imagine what he was just doing.
Our viewers at home, one of the cats decided to try and open the dishwasher.
Dishwasher's open, so I don't know what he was doing.
And
I know, he was probably like rubbing against it and it was making
rattling all of the silverware, and it was creepy.
Creepy if you're a coward.
I'm a coward.
If I gave up now, I would remember what I had seen so far in the house. Do I quit? No. So anyway, I didn't recognize his face. He was still kind of warm. Okay, checking it twice didn't do anything. Jesus, that was so loud and the speaker right behind my ear. Gave me a fright. Oh, that's a stairway. Taco, come on. Over here. Oh, okay, that's good too.
The heating pad is there.
The desk had a computer and some papers on it, in a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? I really shouldn't have been going through this stuff, getting my fingerprints everywhere. So we have a bunch of... Oh, it's blood. I thought it was hay. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. If that man died in the hallway, why was the blood... Whatever. Yep, didn't mean to press that. Okay, it doesn't look like I have a run. I guess it's just left and right necks. Okay, same thing. I noticed that I limped as I moved in the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Raquel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of this house really knew the area. There were scribbles all over. There were scribbles of all kinds on random scraps of paper and notes about some kinds of water tower. Did he mean the one by the old train yard? An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for two people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. How long had this been here rotting? The man upstairs didn't look like he had been dead a long time. A black and white photo. Looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guess there was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? I slipped the photo into my pocket. Maybe this would help me find some answers. thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Yes. That mouse is gonna fuck me up later.
Mm-hmm.
A collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked in damp-smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed?
Those tools belong in the library.
An odd place to keep yard tools. What would they have been used for? No, Cat 2, you were doing something weird. Photo similar to the old one I picked up. It had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? Yes. It was depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Cat 2 is depressed that he is stuck downstairs right now. Let's check this floor before going to another floor. Okay, nothing new over here. Should check back upstairs or check downstairs to see if that switch did something?
Let's check upstairs first. So we should have less to check out.
Dead guy.
Okay.
It's like how his eyes stay forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my nose itches. Itchy no say. Okay. God. Fuck. Spook. This door was taped and seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen. The switch in the wall appeared to have unlocked the door. Huh.
Hey.
The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I had found a way out. I must have moved it, right? Sure.
Yeah.
I heaped the box... Whoops, didn't mean to skip through that. Let's see what else is over here first. Oh! I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. Cat 2! The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wondered if it was the man's wife who did the cleaning or him. There's a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops.
So it wasn't spotless because there's a bunch of random photo equipment on the floor.
Yeah.
You're an unreliable narrator.
Yeah. Nope. Front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out.
Oh, the furniture.
That was weird. I loaded in facing towards the door.
Eh.
There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard, Ocker, the last one, I promise. It didn't make much sense at the time. The smell of old dishes and moldy food was dizzying. Oh. Cause and effect. Be kind and see the results. Okay, I wonder what would happen if I hadn't freed the mouse. There's a ladder going underground where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Yeah.
Okay, nothing else to do.
I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. What shape? Cube.
Kinda jagged squiggle.
Footprints in the dirt looked like more than one kind, and a lot of traffic. Whatever this place was, it was obviously used a lot. Places all over were marked on the old map of town. the industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from local papers. They were all about murders in town over the last few years. Wait, there were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. Oh, Rachel, please be okay. I wanted to rush home, but I had to find a way out first, and I needed to see what else was down there. A work table, covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun? I hated guns, but did I take it? Yeah. I tucked the small handgun into my pocket. Its weight was somehow reassuring.
Okay.
Why did I take the gun? The gun in my pocket made my dick feel bigger. Oh, it keeps going down. So dark down there and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? The desk looked old. It was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded papers covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out and illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. He, Ive, E, Hal, Alf, Ol, Ro. None of it made any sense to me. Nothing about Richard Mears. Keep looking. Some kind of homemade rack, slung together with poorly cut wooden rope. It was caked with old blood. Someone didn't actually use that, did they? Cat 2, you went down there. Crudely made shells look like they're holding cans of some kind of corrosive. Labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. Slight fumes that still emanated from the cans made me dizzy. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom, something wet. All the time I knew I had to keep moving. I'm gonna go back and check that door. Ooh, hooks. Rusted hooks like the kind you'd find on a butcher hung on the ceiling. They looked pitted and worn from heavy use. The man upstairs, did he do this? Probably. Is that Dante? That's Dante. Let's see, how the hell did Cat 2 get out all of a sudden? They looked to be bones, half dug into the ground. Their remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up amongst the dirt looked familiar. Aw.
Yeah.
They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. You think it was Rachel?
Yeah.
Some kind of old boxes looked like they were years old. Wait a minute, these boxes had clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. How are they doing here? If I was scared before, I was terrified now. Why were these photos of our house there in these clothes? Was that why I was here? I checked my back pocket and realized my wallet was missing. Did I come to that house, or did somebody bring me? I didn't hear anything. Oh my god. This game is lacking a way to skip text I've already read. Bats! I did them a spook. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. I don't remember if I jumped down there or found another way. I looked down the long way. Did I jump down? No. Maybe there was some other way to get down without risking any more injury to my leg. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Heck yeah. Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. That was creepy as all hell. I can't look at this. Must be a cask of Amontillado situation. Well, the rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down? Yeah. I could hear a faint hum and the smell from before started to get worse. So rather than move the furniture to get out the front door, I've descended 30 feet underground.
On a rope, on a broken ladder.
And possibly a broken leg. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave-in. I wanted nothing more than to get out of there. Because of the cave-in.
Now you have to manually pull yourself up.
I could still feel the faint impression of the rope I had slid down as I pressed against the heavy metal door.
What?
That was probably for the best that I hadn't jumped. The ache in my leg was bad enough as it was. If I could have, though, I would have run straight out of those awful tunnels. Who would keep such a place? At least I thought I had found that old handgun. It seemed to work, and from the smell of it had been used already. I kept the gun in my pocket. It seemed a familiar weight there. I did not want to go back to those tunnels. It seemed better to press on. Exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there. But it was so high up that it must have been a sore landing. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. Odd there was similar dirt on my own shoes. This says right, but I'll go through the door. I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was that? Water. A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? Heck yeah. I slipped the knife into my boot since I had the gun in my pocket. Did I really need all this?
We'll find out we were murderers.
God! The controller rumbled right before that happened, so it primed me to be spooked.
Surprise.
I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn anyway?
No.
I left the valve alone. I wasn't sure what those... Oh, okay. I'll say no for now. Okay, so we have valve 4, 3, 2. Looks like a Z. Oh, and valve 1. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. Through the dust, I could see handprints from previous use, probably from whoever worked those sewers. Let's just see the same thing. A mustache smell from inside.
A Mustang smell?
Yeah, it smells like mustache. There's a rusty ladder sunk in the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. I can't even walk over here right now. Okay, so those valves must have something to do with it.
Which ones?
Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage. There were rips and tears from most of the valves. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? Yes. Wasn't sure what I hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. This mess, okay. Maybe somewhere I can look at the tape and figure out which valves to turn, I guess. I'm not, because I can't go any further back. Okay. Okay, go through the exit. Oh, the door is locked and musty.
I wonder if you can put the tape in here.
Maybe I could have picked up a portable TV with VCR built in. Okay, I'm just gonna start guessing at the valves, I guess.
But What is the saw sound?
I thought I could turn this water valve to shut off the flow. Did I turn it? Yes. I thought I could turn off.
Did we turn number 1?
Nope. It's in this room. I want to see if anything was. This looked any different through the dust. I can see the handprints. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's locked. I don't know. Doesn't look like there's anywhere else I could go. Unless I don't have any other buttons. Just wing it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I can't turn it back. So there's something I'm missing.
Seems there's something we're missing about.
Wait, I thought I turned this.
Yeah.
Can I turn them on? What? Interesting. Gotta be some weird order to this. Okay, so 4 is turned. One is turned. And turning 2 or 3 seem to turn it back. Leave me alone, family. Oh.
Huh.
There's a fucking. I can turn it more than once.
Oh.
Shows me the little diagram next to the number.
Ah.
It's still locked. Fucking smashing my face into it. Looks like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There's a small metal key left floating. Shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? Hell yeah. I pocketed the small key, but it was so odd shaped I had no idea what it might open. The smell hadn't improved much and the room was damp. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? The door was locked. I could see a faint glow within. What?
The only odd thing I've noticed so far in this game is how it's written. He's like writing as though he's not here right now.
Yeah, like he did it before.
Yeah.
I can see a faint light. Use the key. Or the gun.
Or just carry through the wall.
There's a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. I couldn't help but wonder if someone was watching me from the other side. Another guy. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a keyring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it? Yes. I thought about the knife I'd found with some disgust as I carefully picked the key from his pocket. What? Oh, because the knife had blood on it. Okay. I was almost worried he was going to grab me. I was feeling even more sick from seeing another dead man. I don't want to get any more blood on my clothes.
Okay, fancy clothes. We're going to Chili's.
There's a hint of fresh air here. I must have been near an exit. But I wondered, what did that key I found on the sewer worker do, and what was on the videotape I found? This must be under the ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past the flooded room with this. Clever, but why go through all that trouble? I made my way up the ladder as best I could on my leg. Would I really need that gun or that knife before the end? I wondered what was on the VHS tape I found, or in that locked room. Should I have gone back to check? I tried, and everything was locked.
Well, now that we got the key.
Oh, fuck, I didn't go back to the musty room. Suddenly, as I lifted the heavy lid above me, I could smell fresh air, old pine trees. Go back! Damn it. That's probably what I was supposed to do. And again, I figured I should keep moving. Okay. Hi. That's what our door sounded like before I greased the hinge. An old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb. Did I extend the ladder? No, I want to look first. Poison? Region? Something. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky sewers. Oh, okay. So I missed something? The moon was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly. Is there anything else over here first? There is! This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on the map I'd seen. Whoever was poking around those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths in the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Oh, no, I didn't want to go through here. I thought I was going to investigate it. Alright, hang on. There's way too much going in this direction. Oh, is this the house?
Furniture.
The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. The ancient ticket booth was falling apart and covered in dust and grime. Stacks of paper lined the counter, faded remains of old schedules and reports. Among the papers were newer-looking sheets covered in scribbles and illegible notes. Come to think of it, the man in that house had kept similar scribbles hidden on his bookshelf. And he had notes of the water tower outside, too. I guess he could have been coming here, but why? What was he using this old station for? I couldn't be sure why the man had come to the station before, but it seemed obvious that he had. Now I gotta walk back. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked. The notes I found on the other man's bookshelf, his notes mentioned the water tower, and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? The sorry condition of that place seemed sad somehow, but also ominous. Oh, a back door. The old train was ripped open and hanging from a shred of metal, as well as the broken fence, a dark stained patch of cloth, synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train shell, I could see a few faint impacts like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was someone shot there? The ground was well worn, though I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found as I thought. Oh, getting colder out there. I had to keep moving. Okay. I got that key. I came over here. I went through the train station. Just to find some stuff. Having fun over there, Taco?
Aggressive snores.
Did I walk further this way? Okay. I'm glad that I can see eyes here, and then I go through the fence, and then the eyes are back on the other side. Alright, see if we can...
Oh, we're back here. Yeah.
I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. Would I just jump 12 feet in the air?
A broken, injured leg.
Oops, I fell. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? Yeah. I slid the filthy wallet. Didn't look at it. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards or any idea of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. So it was his.
He's deciding it's an empty wallet.
Oh, did I put... Oh, duh. Huh. Did I put this up here, or was somebody else carrying it? Oops, didn't mean to read that twice. From the railing, I could see over the woods and down the entrance to the sewers. Had I come through here before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. I was getting cool up there, and I shivered with an uneasy sense of what was to come. How did I get home from here? Do you think he's a wenwolf?
Yeah. A were-ferret.
Oh, Taco's interested.
Yeah.
Sitting up and watching.
She stopped with the fake snores.
I want to see him boogie. You know, you just fart. I think you're stepping on a creaky part of the floor.
That really bummed that Dante singing video is mostly just creaky floor.
That's so weird. I trampled into the dirt and grass. Trampled into the dirt and glass with plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off. I was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my card? Yeah. I pocket the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Why'd I pocket it? I could put it in my wallet.
No.
Through the fence, I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I don't know what that means. I wonder if I could find a way around it. I'm gonna go through this first. Wait. What the fuck?
Oh, so many.
What's it though? Oh. Controller vibrated. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None of it made any sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Oliver, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel! Her name was on the list, and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, blah, 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 and crossed out. Marks look more old and faded. Oh, oops. Where are those names? I can only think about how much I need to get home to make sure Rachel was okay. A few embers still burned within the fire pit. Who was camping here? Was it? Who else is out here in these woods? One of the two folding camping chairs was knocked over and there was beer spilled everywhere. Where did the campers run off to in such a hurry? The quiet of the forest was suffocating. I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched. There's a cheap two-person dome tent. New dog!
Just being spooky.
Through the screen on the front, I could see two sleeping bags, backpacks, and a small cooler. As I peered into the tent and around the campsite, I kept thinking about the names in the book. A little twisted around here. No, 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 no. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. A musty wooden plank propped in the stall door. It didn't really seem useful. Did I bother to take it? Sure. I wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. Good boy, new dog.
I'm getting so excited for door guys. Door friend.
The sign was the same as the first one I'd seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. Wait, should I go back and try to find that? I finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Oh, fuck, I'm going back to that outhouse or whatever it was called. Your watch is creepy.
Here for the creep factor.
Oh, an old picnic table sat amongst the trees, carving marks of these previous campers. As I tried to read some of the names and marks, I idly thumbed the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something on the table. Did I? Yes. With a few crude strokes, I etched a simple design into the wood. R plus H. I felt like a teenager just facing the table. I read some of the other names and notes on the table surface. Kumar, Uncle Phil, Henry, Daniel. What? I think the table had seen a lot of use over the years. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Yes. Did I cross back over the other shore? No. I wasn't ready to head back yet. Got him. Two bodies, two young women, were half dug in a hasty shallow grave between the trees. The younger-looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against the flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes. I tried to cover them up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. New dog, down! Down! There's no space there, buddy. Down! The girls weren't carrying ID, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever did this had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help. I went to their campsite. There was nothing there. The girls weren't carrying it. Okay. I wonder if I should go back to the campsite. Maybe I'll look for a phone.
Yeah.
Terrible tragedy. Piece together what happened in the woods. Oh, I missed whatever happened in the security thing. I don't know if there was like some weird... Wait, am I back at the beginning? I paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been less nervous about entering the Dark Four. Yeah, I think I'm back. Okay, I am. Okay, so if I go through here and just go left, it takes me to that outhousey or whatever he called it. Oh, I can't even go that way. It was defense. Oh, it's the other side of the washroom.
I'm getting longer, Taco.
Olivia? Daphne? The inside of the tent was suffocating. Okay, I guess,
We just decided out of that list that it was Olivia and Daphne.
well, they had their names scribbled out.
Ah.
Oh, shoot, which door did I go through? Oh. This one? Damn it. Good girl, Taco. Oh, hi.
Fuzzy nest.
Fucking shit. I got myself turned around and I don't remember how to get out of here. Okay. The forest started to thin out a bit, and through the trees I could make out parts of the town beyond the first hint of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel them on my neck like a warm breath. Those girls I had found, someone had taken them from their campsite and had murdered them. Was it the same person who had left the odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe and to find a way to reach Rachel. We are. Oh, you know, I can just press. Okay, so let's see how long we've been going. 40 minutes. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. Yeah, my foot's itchy. Yeah, the plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Let's see. I don't see any wind. Huh. I found the body of a security guard, just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? I saw the blunt wound on the guard's head and looked again at the flashlight I was carrying. Oh no, please. I dug into the ground was an old watch. First my wallet, now this. Did I retrieve my watch? Yes. The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. I wished I could remember. Why was all my stuff missing? One of the lockers hung open, its contents were tossed around like somebody had been looking for something. Old work clothes had been picked through, and a few photos and notes had been ripped off the door and spread around. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected in the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. It didn't look like the power was on yet. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box in the handle. A sign was pasted on the door, closed for repairs. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper, cartoons, and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Norman took over a general store after the factory closed. He, Rachel, and I would get lunch every now and then. Rachel liked him because he seemed more positive despite the setback. I don't think I could say the same about me.
Aww.
He didn't like him, not about the setback stuff.
Yeah.
Our old break table, a layer of dust and grime, only made seeing this sting more. Looked like some beer bottles had been used on the table recently. I wondered, was that guard using this as a break room of his own? Wait, why was there a guard here if the place is closed?
I don't know. Is it closed or did somebody...
A power panel. It looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Yes. The power panel still wasn't working. Did I try it again? Yes. The power panel seemed to be working again.
Yeah.
The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable.
Aww.
The woman's photo. I knew I had to get back to Rachel to find out what happened. A power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? The power panel seemed to be working again. It was shut tight. There was a rusty-looking card slot to the side. Oh, okay. The door had been hastily boarded up. Tastefully boarded up. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked here. My head ached, and I recalled the last time Norman, Rachel, and I had lunch together. Rachel seemed so much more at ease when we all hung out. Another panel. Great, this one was working.
Bye, Taco.
A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the oh, fuck. Yes, I took the hammer. I took the hammer and noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools, and then there's a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer? But weird. I guess he forgot to write a second line for that one. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Yes. Slip the card in my pocket. Another panel. I hoped I could get the power on. I push the switch. Yes. Oh. There we go. Press it to go on. Power back on. There. Push it. Yes. Power. Okay, now I gotta remember where the boarded up door was and where the magnetic key card door was. I think the boarded up one was just over here. Yeah. I struck with the hammer. The old boards came apart easily. After I had removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. Don't need this.
Take it with you, dude.
And I got a knife in my boot, and this was my locker. There in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. The room was nothing but bad memories. There was a mess of empty booze bottles. I wondered if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. Maybe that guard outside caught him hiding up here?
Good theory. Did you go get water to dribble all over?
Good girl.
Don't like them like it.
Keycard. The keycard I found seemed like it would pass through the reader. Did I use the keycard? Yes. So the card through the old reader and turn the handle. There was some kind of ventilation hatch here. It looked like I could jump into the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I could see another... No. If I was too chicken to jump down the broken ladder before, why did there had to be another way? Okay. Great. Shit. I was probably supposed to... Well, I probably could have gone back to the first floor first.
Ow.
Okay, so... There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched heavily out and it was hard to make out. Did I read the letter? Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked like a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was need to. Just don't. Drinking need Norman. Who was Norman writing to? Am I Norman?
I hope so.
I think I'm moving slower now. I stepped out of the factory, glad to be rid of the smell and of his memories. I couldn't stop thinking about the room with the bottles in it. Was that guard I found really drinking up there? What about Norman? And who had rooted through all these lockers? I couldn't tell where I was as I looked around, but I needed to figure out how to get to a road to get my bearings. Maybe Norman could help. His store wasn't that far from the turnoff to the factory, if I remember correctly. The factory door had locked itself behind me. I think I'm walking slower and funnier now.
I kind of have a limp now.
A lot of piles of rocks everywhere. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Yes. I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked beat up. I was amazed to even found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Did someone steal this from me? I wondered why they would have stashed it here. It sounded like it was going to start raining again. I entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet, except for a faint sound of a television. The entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. It looked like I couldn't just pop it up. I needed a key. There was a bit of blood on the keyhole. Oh. So I can make the text go slightly faster if I press a button on the D-pad. More blood. What the hell? One of Rachel's old autumn coats hung on the rack. This was Norman's bedroom, wasn't it? What was this doing here? A speck of something dark and wet stained one of the sleeves. Come. Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifle, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots in the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others. What?
Basically, the empty slot is the
Yeah,
gun.
but he said all the other ones were hunting guns, but I found like a handgun, I thought.
You found a hunting gun that fits in your pocket.
If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was it doing? Was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet?
No.
No. Though it weighed on me, I had a hard time parting with the weapon just then. I mean, what were you doing with all these? Oh, okay, and I have another option to put it back. I guess I'm hanging on to it. What was this? It looked like a pull chain hanging from the ceiling. I wondered where it led. To fucking attic. It contained a single tug and a simple folding ladder. The attic popped down, smashed my teeth in. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. I couldn't make out what was on the screen, but that glow just gave me the chills. Oh no! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker, and one of my few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside the armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he had been shot trying to get up. His eyes were wide with shock, though they were already drying. Norman, what was Rachel doing here? Why did you have her coat? Norman, maybe you deserved better. You probably did. Did I close his eyes?
Yeah.
Yes. I closed his eyelids down, shuddering as I did so. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. I hope to tell Rachel had nothing to do with this mess. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. I had never been to Norman's place before, at least I didn't remember ever doing so, but he knew where his bedroom was as soon as I walked in.
Yeah.
The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through the mess, did I? Yeah, I did. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it.
Sweet.
Takeout containers and food scraps looked like Norman was eating for 2. Calling Norman fat.
It's gonna
Get
get
a new
into a
cabinet
weird.
someday.
Huh?
We should get new cabinets someday. At least ones that all match.
Yeah.
Half of them are different. Some of them have a weird smell that will never go away.
This is gonna turn into some weird male pregnancy thing.
Oops. No pregnancy.
Yeah.
What?
Because he was eating for 2.
Oh. There was a large cardboard box that hadn't been sealed. Did I open it? Yes. I opened up the old cardboard box, and it wasn't in. Wow. I'm not stupid. It says "and" twice. Opened up the old cardboard box and wasn't entirely surprised by what I saw. There are more of Rachel's things, more of my wife's clothes, photos, shoes, even that old radio I gave her. Why, Rachel? What were you doing with Norman? Okay, Rachel was clearly married to Norman, and my character is crazy. I just couldn't believe it. My head ached with everything that was running through it. I don't know if I'm going to have to speculate some of the story or if it's going to all come together at the end. I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. Fucking Norman.
Yeah.
The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. Were you thinking of going somewhere with Rachel, Norman? The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. What was the matter, Norman? What was the matter, Norman? Cheated on your hydro bills too? There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape than this. Wait, it looked to be in much better shape then. All the postcards that one seemed to be the most popular, there were only a few left. The night continued to take horrible turn after horrible turn. It had been weeks since I had last seen Norman, but to find him like that, as I thought of him still lying on the floor back there, the gun I carried seemed ever present. Seeing that dusty box of those old clothes was a shock. How long had that been there? And what was Rachel doing at Norman's place? I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers, but I was close to home. It was time to find out the truth.
That were Rachel's clothes at that first place we found.
Well, where else were her clothes?
Like the first building place that we were at.
Were they?
Yeah.
It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house.
The gate was not locked, but this was also not my house.
Oh. Okay. The neighborhood's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it in all the way. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? Yes. The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Norman, I'm sending this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you this in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but he is my husband and your friend. I need some time to sort this out away from you both. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him. Norman, so you don't think that you can hold that... Oh, Norman, so don't you think you can hold it against me? Maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I even want to, but he deserves at least that much. Goodbye. I didn't know what to think. My mind was racing, my heart pounding. I had to get home. I just had to. Okay, so he's not crazy about his relationship with his wife and Norman. I entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding. It chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I never did fix this gate. It was stuck. Yeah, why are you so anxious to go to bed? I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. Step inside. Pug, pug. The door was painfully quiet. Or the house, wow. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. Why? I just rebooted... Oh no, that was just... No way I was going to walk away from this now. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? The table was clean. It hadn't been used any time recently. The door to the basement, it was locked. Where had I put the damned key? Oh, it's in my butt. There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why didn't Rachel pick it up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? Yes. I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though. I needed to see if Rachel was here. Oh, she's absolutely going to be dead upstairs.
Super here. Super alive, just hanging out in the dark. Like you do.
Doing the fucking yellow wallpaper thing in the attic. I had found my last missing piece of my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had gotten a part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Stolen identity. Recover the pieces of your wallet. Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but by then it was too late. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Jesus Christ, imagine going around our house and be like, oh man, can't get into the guest room. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. I couldn't really make myself out anymore. I wasn't sure I wanted to. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remember owning it, but not that edition. My wife's, Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had a feeling what was in it. Did I open it? Undies. Rachel's suitcase contained clothes, toiletries, and a train ticket. Is this what you were going to do with Norman? Rachel, why? Why were you really going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? Well, you shot a train. Probably. And maybe killed 2 girls in the woods.
Plus those other people we found.
Our sink, which needed to be replaced. One of the taps always stuck, and I hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. The old house was charming for sure, but it wasn't always easy. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed tubs. I'd rather not.
I never really
Seemed to be impractical at times, but it was part of what made that house a home.
Rachel in the tub.
Hmm?
It's Rachel in the tub.
That's what I thought it was going to be. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top desk of my drawer. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. Laptop was warm. It had been running for a while. So his laptop is alive and about to die, but he was so past due on credit card payments that he didn't remember. Maybe it's a Chromebook. Those things, they stay powered on for a while. Stuck shut. There's an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the can. Okay, I guess my key doesn't go there. What other door did I see that was locked?
Downstairs?
Yeah, this is where the TV was. Oh, the basement?
Yeah.
Unlock the basement door. This is reminding me of that video we watched where the basement had the sewer grate thing in it.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing when he said it was locked.
There were old Christmas decorations in the box. I couldn't even remember our last Christmas. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key there. Fuck yeah, I took the key. Took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. I looked and there was plaster and an old trowel in there too. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. We had way too much junk. I'd put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through, but found something heavy enough. Wait, what? Having trouble. Does he have a robot diagram?
Yeah.
The grimy key I'd found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed away. The furniture was a mess. Did someone break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Fuck yeah! I lifted the heavy crowbar. Appreciated its weight. Oh, it's a bed? Kind of looks like a bed, but I already went in their bedroom. Double transition. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down here? Was she okay? Don't
look.
Is that what it says?
I think. Or don't cook.
Or don't joke. Ah, the jellyfish. I think you're right. That's supposed to be look.
What if we find the picture of that frog?
A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew what I had to do. I had come this far. After all the searching, after all I'd seen, when I looked within the rags, did I find my Rachel? Ooh. Say no. See what happens. The rags were wet, matted, and covered with dirt and grime, but inside that tattered mess was no sign of my beloved wife. Rachel wasn't there. I looked around in confusion, trying to figure out what to do next. If she wasn't there, where was she? What I have been searching for this whole time. I remembered the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? Then the awful realization hit me right in the gut. I had been looking at this the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all, was she? I stumbled back upstairs, the pain in my leg just a dull ache now, and sat down in my bedroom. My mind was spinning, and and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Wait, what? Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and as I tried to grab hold of something that would make sense of all this, I must have drifted off. I like to remember things my own way. Maybe this wasn't what you thought after all. I guess those books were all actually mine then. My head was pounding. Oh. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped this stuff or someone else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that Forest Water Tower. Was I at those places before? Ooh. No, there's no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in any damn forest. There, that was decided. It was a photo of the other man and his wife that I found in that house. Oh. Were those really his wife's remains in those tunnels? It certainly seems so. What did I think? Did the other man murder his wife and bury her in those tunnels? No. I couldn't be sure. He could have been another victim. After all, he was dead when I woke up. Who killed that man anyway? It's the shards of the broken mirror. I couldn't see my face. I could see my face, gaunt, hollow and sickly, and immensely troubled. What other illusions had I dreamed up? What other truths were waiting? It was the key card I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through that door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's. But if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory?
Yes.
It must have been him. He must have been using the old locker. The laptop had finally run out of power. How long had it been left running?
At least 4 hours.
I made up my mind. Curious of what I missed in the factory. In the dirty faded glass, I looked like nothing more than a faint shadow. There was only one set of toiletries by the sink. I used to tell myself that Rachel was the one who wanted to keep the tub. When was the last time I showered? I smelled awful. Hey, Taco. Taco, we're almost done. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. It used a digital passcode, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I left it somewhere. I surmised that at least 2 of the names in that must-have-known book must have been recent victims. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl. Those Pearl girls that I found dead in the forest. I wondered what happened to the other names on that list, or the ones scratched out on the desk in those wet tunnels. What was that other man up to? I like his tall, narrow house.
Yeah.
It was a letter I had taken from the post box. It had gotten a bit wet in the rain, but who wrote the letter then? Who was Norman seeing? Oh no, Norman. If I was wrong about Rachel, then what about him? Did I do that horrible thing to him? No. I couldn't have. I clearly wasn't seeing things clearly, but now... Wait, wasn't seeing things correctly, but no. I could never do something like that. The more I thought of Norman, the worse I started to feel. I still had no idea what was on the tape I found in the garbage. If only I had found a way to watch it. Yeah, I don't... Oh, what the heck? Huh. My TV changed.
Oh, yeah.
The old VCR had long since broken down. I never bothered to replace it. Punch. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. The pile of mail on the floor I now saw was addressed to me. Bill's credit cards, offers, a letter from the bank, they were all addressed to me. By the looks of it, I hadn't collected the mail in over a week. That was it. With Rachel gone, I couldn't stand to be in the house longer. Did I leave and say goodbye to that nightmare? No. And deserve to go. Not yet. I'm gonna go in the basement. There's not gonna be that false wall. How many breakfasts had I eaten here completely alone? Come to think of it, I didn't think I'd even had guests over. I must have locked the door. There was no reason to return to the backyard anyway. Everything smelled musty and old down here. Okay. Oh, if I wanted to end it, I could do it. I could do it with that gun. No. If I was guilty, I could take this warm, safe. I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Pick up the knife. Kill myself. I don't know if the gun obviously meant shoot himself. I'm a little confused if that's what the knife meant also.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave the house. That was it. With Rachel gone. Did I leave and say goodbye to that nightmare? Yes. Since I'd arrived in town, things had been difficult. Working the plant, though, had been good for me. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that's when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. Drinking was probably just a way to deal with that. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense sometime after that, and my memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Would it even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened, everything I'd seen? You know, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't even woken up tonight. It would have spared me a lot of pain. What had happened to the other man I found in that old house? Had I killed him? Is that why I was locked in that room? Or did you? What happened in the dank sewers? I was lucky in my way to even find my own way out of there, but I never did find out what was on the tape that I now kept. Considering all that I had learned tonight, I wasn't sure I wanted to. You know, I didn't know who had taken my wallet, but I knew it wasn't me who had been all over town at Norman's or in that forest. I don't care what you think. I may be mad, but it wasn't me. There's plenty of other people to blame for this. Why don't you start thinking about them instead? For just a second though, just think about something else. Think about those poor girls I had accidentally discovered in the old forest. The notebook I found in the woods had their names in it. Names I think I saw somewhere else before. It couldn't have been me behind that, could it? I would never do such a thing to such sweet, innocent people. It wasn't clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the plant. It was clear. Had he been the one to seal up the room? Was he drinking up there alone? I thought perhaps he had something to do with that dead guard, but now you've got me all mixed up. I'm not even sure what makes sense anymore. I had to catch my breath to take it all in. At each point until the factory, things had only gotten worse. But then going to Norman's store, that's where the confusion and doubt started to set in. That's where my perspective on all of this started to change. Damn it, Norman. What were you doing with Rachel? I mean, what was going on? If all this was a lie, then what was really happening? Someone had killed Norman in his store, but it wasn't me. Who else would have wanted him dead? But as painful as all of that was, oh no, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all that I had seen and done, finally coming home was supposed to be the end of this entire ordeal. I had no idea, though, that it was only the beginning. The silence in the house when I had first stepped through the kitchen door, that should have been the first clue. To think that I went through all of that completely unaware of what I would discover. Did you know before the end? Did you mock me when you finally showed me the truth? Did you know what it's like to have everything ripped away from you in a heartbeat? How could I possibly go on, now knowing what I do? Without Rachel, even the thought of Rachel, I was truly lost. As the door swung open, I could smell damp grass and closeness of the air. After everything, it felt like it was more questions than answers. You made me see the truth. I give you that. But now I was completely lost. You took away the only thing that kept me going. I was sure word would get out, and soon enough, the police would come looking for me. And what then? What would you... Blah, blah, blah. Slipping away. End your story by leaving. Hang on, how'd that long that take? Hour 15. Oh man, I can't wait to see my name in the credits of Sea of Stars. Alex, son of Snack. Home is dedicated to my wife Nancy. Watching your back.
God.
Fiend. Let's see if it gives me any. Okay. So, still some questions and some confusion. I kind of wish... It kind of seemed like most of the options were like, I didn't really have a choice, so just do it now or do it the second time it asked me the question.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder what would happen if it was Rachel, or if I'd killed myself with a knife or gun. If that's what that was. Interesting concept. I don't really want to go through... Well, I guess I could probably go through a little bit faster on a second playthrough. I wish that after you beat it, you could unlock like a run or something.
Yeah.
So you could like see the other options again. Because I only wasted a little bit of time. Actually, the only part that kind of wasted any time was the valves. But otherwise, I don't think I could get through this that much faster.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't need to discover the dead girls again. Check out what some of these other trophies were. Oh, that's a screenshot. No, hang on. How do I see all trophies? Go to trophies. Sort by not earned. Let's see. Investigate potential travel plans. Open the safe. Discard a deadly item. I did have an option to do that, and I didn't do it. Okay, so I ended up not needing the gun. I thought maybe like there was going to be like somebody confronting me later.
Yeah.
Realize your worst fear. That probably would have been if I had seen Rachel. End the story in the kitchen. Maybe killing myself with a knife in the bathroom. Pick up nothing along the way. Let's see. End your story in the kitchen, huh? Interesting. Well, that was worth $1 for sure. Would have been worth $5 probably. Thanks for watching.